최근에 차바에서 만들었던 영국 변호사의 영상을 꼭 보시기 바랍니다. 저는 그 영상을 보면서 정말 눈물을 많이 흘리고 우리나라만큼은 반드시 차별금지법을 막아야 되겠다, 그런 다짐을 했습니다.
My subject today is anti-discrimination laws in the United Kingdom. And I hope that by speaking to the anti-discrimination laws in the United Kingdom, we can teach a lesson to you in South Korea for what happens when they are implemented, the trajectory, and how important it is for those of you that are Christians, those of you that are lawyers, those of you that are teachers, pastors, those of you that are society leaders. It's worth, first of all, noting that anti-discrimination is not an issue that exists in a vacuum. There are numerous root causes that create a culture that lead to the kind of tribalism and identity policies that are at the heart of the equality agenda that we see so clearly in the West and which is coming to you in South Korea. I call it an equality agenda because anti-discrimination law has very little to do with equality and a lot to do with politics. At its heart, anti-discrimination defines people by various minority characteristics and focuses on our differences rather than our similarities. Instead of bringing people together in the shared understanding that we are born into the radical equality and the shared dignity of being created in God's image. And that is something that we in Britain have enjoyed historically in our laws. But today that has gone through the equality agenda. And this agenda breeds suspicion among people and the belief that because of their differences, they tend to be victimised by society more than others. Being a victim, in turn, can breed contempt for those that others view as their victimisers. The philosophy underpinning the anti-discrimination agenda has led to such things as critical race theory, which has bred movements like Black Lives Matter and spawned protests which often become violent in the United States. It has led to an insidious form of cultural Marxism, where our entire history and culture is treated with suspicion and disdain, with an aim to fully dismantling it. So today, in Britain, much of British history is unknown and not properly analysed. And the way that it is taught in the academies and the way that it is spoken of in political life and even in our education in schools is with disdain. The so-called Christian heritage is one to be ashamed of, not celebrating for the good that it has done. This philosophy has led to a transgender theory today where biological sex no longer matters. It's subjective feeling that counts. I can be whatever gender I aspire to be or no gender at all. It is a war of nature and ultimately on God's sovereignty and the creation order. This philosophy has also created the LGBTQI movement, which has for the past 30 years in society sought to deconstruct heteronormativity, to thereby redefine the family, in fact, to smash the family, and to end what they believe to be straight privilege. Perhaps the greatest challenge of the anti-discrimination agenda is that it is all-encompassing. It usually starts in the area of employment or housing, and then it expands to the provision of goods and services. However, where the agenda is most advanced, like in the United Kingdom, it then tries to take over how we educate our children, how we run our churches and define our beliefs. And it even tries to censor our speech and challenge the very beliefs that we hold as Christians, suggesting that they are not worthy of respect in a democratic society. Suggesting that they are not worthy of respect in a society based on equality considerations. The result has been the mainstreaming of anti-Christian bias and anti-Christian discrimination into the cultural fabric of the United Kingdom.